The most dangerous weapon you possess isn't what you say, it's what you refuse to acknowledge. Stay till the end. They're waiting for you to break. Right now, someone out there is testing you, poking, prodding, waiting for that reaction that tells them they still matter in your world. And every time you give it to them, you hand over your power like a beggar offering coins to a king. I'm not here to teach you conflict. Conflict is what weak people engage in because they don't understand the game. I'm here to show you something Machiavelli understood 5 centuries ago. Something that toppled rivals, silenced enemies, and built empires without a single sword being drawn. The art of ignoring people. Not the passive, cowardly kind of ignoring. I'm talking about weaponized indifference, strategic silence. The kind that doesn't just dismiss your enemies, it erases them from existence. This is dark psychology at its finest. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the most powerful move in any game is refusing to play. Let's begin. Section 1. Your attention is the most expensive currency. Think about this carefully. Right now, billion-dollar corporations are fighting wars over something you give away for free. Your attention. Every advertisement, every notification, every drama that explodes across your screen, they're all fighting for the same scarce resource. The one thing that cannot be manufactured or bought. Your focus. And here's what they know that you don't. Whoever controls your attention controls your reality. When you give someone your attention, you're not just being polite. You're transferring energy, power, life force. You're telling them, you matter. You exist in my world. You have value. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But let me give you the updated version. The first method for estimating your intelligence is to look at who you give your attention to. Do you spend your days arguing with strangers online? Congratulations, you're burning your most valuable resource on people who wouldn't cross the street to save you. Do you ruminate over critics? You've just made them your master. Do you obsess over what people said about you? You've handed them the remote control to your emotional state. Your attention isn't free. It's the most expensive thing you own. And the moment you understand this, everything changes. Section 2. Machiavelli's Philosophy of Silence. Let's travel back to 1513. Florence, Italy. Niccolo Machiavelli, diplomat, philosopher, survivor, sits in exile, writing what will become the most controversial manual of power ever created, The Prince. But here's what most people miss when they read Machiavelli. They focus on the manipulation, the scheming, the ruthlessness. They miss the silence. Machiavelli understood something profound. Power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't explain. It doesn't justify. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. The less you reveal, the more powerful you become. While your enemies are busy talking, explaining, defending themselves, you say nothing, and in that nothing, you become a mystery, an enigma, something they cannot predict or control." Silence, for Machiavelli, wasn't passive. It was a weapon. When rivals attacked him, he didn't respond. When critics wrote scathing letters, he didn't defend himself. He simply continued his work, unbothered, unmoved. And you know what happened? His enemies exhausted themselves. Their attacks bounced off walls of indifference. They screamed into the void. And the void didn't even blink. This is the Machiavellian secret. Let them waste their energy while you conserve yours. The leader who must respond to every provocation isn't leading. They're being led. The person who must have the last word in every argument isn't winning. They're enslaved. True power sits back, watches the chaos, and does absolutely nothing. Because nothing is the most devastating response of all. Section 3. Inside the mind of someone you ignore. Now let's get psychological. What actually happens in someone's brain when you ignore them? Neuroscience gives us a brutal answer. Social rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. When you ignore someone, truly ignore them, their brain processes it as a threat. Their amygdala fires. Cortisol floods their system. They experience genuine suffering. But here's the twisted part. They become obsessed. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. The human mind obsesses over incomplete interactions. When you don't give someone closure, when you leave them hanging, their brain cannot stop thinking about you. You become the unsolved puzzle, the unfinished story, the ghost that haunts their thoughts. Meanwhile, you've moved on completely. Think about the power dynamic here. They're lying awake at night. Why didn't they respond? What did I do? Do they hate me? Are they thinking about me? You're sleeping peacefully, dreaming about your goals, completely unbothered. You've occupied their mind rent-free while they don't even exist in yours. This is what Machiavelli meant by strategic cruelty. You're not actively harming them. You're simply not there. And that absence becomes a presence more powerful than any confrontation could ever be. The person you ignore doesn't just lose access to you. They lose their sense of control, their sense of importance, their sense of self, and all you did was nothing. Section 4. Strategic withdrawal. Becoming selectively invisible. Let's talk about the tactical application. Strategic withdrawal isn't about running away. It's about choosing your battles with surgical precision. Here's the framework. The 3 tiers of human interaction. Tier 1. People who earn your presence. These are the rare few who add value to your life, who challenge you, who support your vision. They get your time, your energy, your full attention. Tier 2. Necessary interactions. Colleagues, acquaintances, transactional relationships. You engage professionally, politely, but with clear boundaries. They get your competence, not your soul. Tier 3. The ignored energy vampires. Drama addicts. Critics with no skin in the game. People who want to debate, drain, or destroy you. These people get nothing. Not anger, not explanation, not acknowledgement. They simply cease to exist in your reality. How do you implement this? Digital withdrawal. Stop responding to provocations on social media. Mute, block, or unfollow without announcement. Let your silence speak when words would waste energy. Social withdrawal. Stop attending events with people who drain you. Cancel plans without elaborate explanations. Let invitations go unanswered. Emotional withdrawal. Stop defending yourself to people who've already made up their minds. Stop explaining your choices to those who aren't living your life. Stop seeking validation from those who don't matter. Machiavelli withdrew from Florence's political scene after his exile, but that withdrawal gave him the space to write The Prince, the work that made him immortal. Sometimes the most powerful move is disappearing from the game entirely. Section 5. Why enemies and critics deserve nothing. Let's address the elephant in the room. But what about standing up for yourself? What about defending your reputation? Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Your enemies don't deserve your energy. Think about it logically. Who are your critics? Usually people who haven't built what you're building. People who haven't risked what you're risking. People commenting from the cheap seats while you're in the arena. And you're going to waste your precious time and mental bandwidth on them? Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. People will judge you no matter what you do. So why bother performing for them?" Here's the liberating truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Not your critics, not your haters, not even your family if they're questioning your path. The moment you start defending yourself, you've already lost. You've accepted their frame. You've acknowledged their authority to judge you. A king doesn't explain himself to peasants. A lion doesn't concern itself with the opinions of sheep. And you're building something too important to be derailed by people who contribute nothing. Every second you spend arguing with a fool is a second stolen from your empire. Your success is the only response they deserve, and even that is more than they've earned. Let them talk. Let them criticize. Let them make up stories about you. Meanwhile, you're working, building, becoming, and 5 years from now, when they're still talking, you'll be living a life they can't even comprehend. That's the ultimate victory. Section 6. Training yourself to feel nothing. Now we get to the difficult part. How do you actually become indifferent? Because let's be honest, right now you care. You care what people think. You care when they attack you. You care when they ignore you. That caring is your weakness. Machiavelli combined with Stoic philosophy gives us the blueprint. Exercise 1. The mirror technique. Every time someone provokes you, pause. Look at yourself objectively. Ask, why does this bother me? Usually it's ego, pride, the need for validation. Once you see it clearly, it loses power. Exercise 2. The death meditation. Remember daily, you're going to die. Everyone you know is going to die. In 100 years, everyone currently alive will be dead. Does this argument matter in that context? Does this person's opinion matter when measured against eternity? Probably not. Exercise 3. Controlled exposure. Practice small acts of non-reaction. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Don't react. Someone sends a passive-aggressive message? Leave it on red. Train your nervous system to stay calm under provocation. Exercise 4. The energy audit. Every week, review where your emotional energy went. Who got you angry? Who got you defensive? Who stole your peace? Then cut them off. No announcements. No drama. Just gone. The goal isn't to become emotionless. Emotions are data. They're useful. The goal is to become selectively emotional. You feel deeply for your mission, for your loved ones, for your purpose. But random people on the internet, jealous colleagues, bitter ex-friends, they get nothing. Not even the satisfaction of knowing they bothered you. This is disciplined indifference, and it's the mark of someone truly powerful. Section 7. Social chess and controlling without moving. Let's talk about advanced strategy. In chess, the most dangerous player isn't the one making aggressive moves. It's the one who controls the center board without seeming to move at all. Social dynamics work the same way. The power of strategic absence. When you remove yourself from situations, something fascinating happens. People scramble to fill the vacuum you left. They reveal themselves. They make mistakes. They expose their true intentions. You're not there, but you're controlling everything. Example, you used to attend every company meeting, jumping into every debate. Now you selectively attend only high-value meetings. Suddenly your presence becomes valuable. When you do speak, people listen. You've manufactured scarcity. Example, you used to respond to every text immediately. Now you respond on your timeline. Suddenly people respect your time. They think twice before contacting you. You've trained them through absence. Example, you used to engage with every social media comment. Now you post and disappear. Your content speaks for itself. The lack of engagement makes you mysterious, unreachable, powerful. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." But I'll go further. Never attempt to win by action what can be won by inaction. The person who needs to react is weak. The person who can afford to ignore is strong. You're not being manipulative. You're being strategic. You're conserving energy for battles that actually matter. And the beautiful thing, your enemies interpret your silence however their insecurities dictate. They project, they assume, they spiral, all while you're focused on building your empire. Section 8. Why caring too much enslaves you. Here's the final uncomfortable truth. Every person you care about is a potential chain. Not your family, not your real friends. I'm talking about caring what strangers think, what society expects, what the crowd approves of. When you need approval, you give others the key to your prison cell. When you need validation, you make yourself a slave to their moods. When you need acceptance, you surrender your authenticity. Machiavelli wrote about this in a different context, but the principle applies. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Modern translation, it is better to be respected for your boundaries than liked for your compliance. The moment you stop needing people to like you, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a violent way, dangerous to the system that relies on your need for approval. Think about it. Society functions by making you care. Advertising works because you care what people think. Social media thrives because you care about likes. Toxic relationships persist because you care about abandoning people. But what if you just didn't? What if you built your life around principles so solid that external opinion couldn't shake them? What if you became so focused on your mission that criticism rolled off like water off stone? What if you truly, genuinely didn't give a damn? That's not freedom. That's sovereignty. And sovereignty is the ultimate power. So here we are. You now understand what most people never will. Attention is power, and withholding it is the ultimate power move. The art of ignoring people isn't about being cruel. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that your time on this earth is finite, and every second you give to someone is a second stolen from your purpose. Machiavelli conquered through silence. Stoics found peace through indifference. And you're about to become untouchable, not because you're hiding, but because you've transcended the need to engage with people who don't deserve access to you. They'll keep trying. They'll poke harder. They'll create drama. They'll demand responses. And you'll be busy building something they can't even imagine. This is the final transformation. From someone who reacts to everything, to someone who responds to nothing that doesn't deserve it. Welcome to selective invisibility. Welcome to strategic silence. Welcome to real power. If this video awakens something in you, don't just watch and leave. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell, because we're going deeper into dark psychology, power dynamics, and the strategies that separate winners from losers.